In this video, we will start working with the delete user details functionality. And before we start writing any code here in our REST controller, let's look up at the delete HTTP request. To delete user details from our database, we'll need to send the HTTP request providing the user ID that we want to delete. So to get user details, we were sending an HTTP GET request to the /users, and then we provided the ID of the user, the details of which we want to query from the database. So the delete user details API call is very similar. We will need to send HTTP delete request this time, and the URL will stay the same. It will also be sent to /users, and then we'll need to provide the ID of the user that we want to delete. No need to provide anything in the body, just the authorization header, as we always do in the case of protected web service endpoints. So let's go into our REST controller, and we know that to delete user, we need to send HTTP delete request, and this is why our annotation here is at delete mapping. So we're binding this delete user method to a delete HTTP request. Then we need to read the path parameter here. We need to read this user ID, which is provided as a path parameter. So I will copy the path parameter from update user details into the delete user details. And there's no other information we need to read in this method. What we can do, we can return back a different model. In this case, in the case of update user details, we were returning user details of updated record in the database. And so in the create user details, and same in get user details. Now we can do same with the delete user details, like return back the details of the user that were deleted, or come up with the different response that would simply confirm that this operation, like delete operation, was successfully performed. And let me do that in the case of delete method. So let's create a new model. Let's create something like operation status model. And that operation status model will be living in the response package. Let me create a new class. I'll call it operation status model, finish. And it will contain only two fields. One will be operation result, and the other one private string operation name, like this. And let's format our code. And let's encapsulate source, generate getters and setters, select all. Okay, and let's format our code one more time, like this. So that will be operation status model that will be returned. So I'll go back to user controller, and now I can create my return value and import this operation status model and return this return value. Now, in this case, we're talking about the delete operation, so we can right away set the operation name. For example, return value set operation name, and then we can hardcode delete. Or we can also create one more enum for different operations like delete, or you might have some other operation, custom operations that your API can support. So I can create a new enum in the same response package, and I will call it, let's say, request operation name, something like this. So that's going to be enum, and we will create only one operation at this time. Let's format our source, but this time we will not have to hard code the name. We'll use that enum and get the operation name and set it this way. And we can do same for operation status. There could be two possible statuses that I can see at this time. For example, success and error. So I'll go back to my response model, and I'll create a new enum, and I'll call it request operation status, and click on finish. And two statuses, one is error and another is success, like this. So I'll format my source, Save this. And in case of success, I will return value set operation result status, and I'll say success, and have to call name. Okay, like this. Now one more little change that we'll need to do is because our delete method needs to accept path variable, we will provide the path, and we can copy it actually from here. So we need to provide path, and we can provide what media type our RESTful web service endpoint to delete user can produce. So this one produces either XML or JSON, like this. And our method is almost ready. All we need to do now, we will need to create a service method that will actually delete user record from the database. Let's do that in the following video.